As an active real estate broker and listing agent, I come across all day long hard money lenders approach me. The thing is, it really requires a relationship and a sense of trust because you want to make sure that your deal gets done. I've known Dave Mashian when I switched from doing loans and real estate full-time into real estate. I think 2008 or 2009 was when we first met. So it's been a few minutes, 14, 15 years. Dave, thanks for taking time with us today. And then the other thing I should say is Dave has relocated to Raleigh, North Carolina. And so he can give us a little perspective on business over there. Dave, thanks for taking time with us today.
Absolutely, Bill. It's always a joy to be with you.
So I know you're now in Raleigh. Is your business national in scope? Are you focused in Southeast, or how would you describe your business today?
It's national in scope. I've been doing private money loans for fix and flips, as well as commercial loans and DSCRs, all kinds of investment-oriented loans for about 9 years now.
Mm-hmm. And so, and I know, and we met a couple of times, and we've talked about some of those things you're offering. So let's talk about specifically fix and flips. What's a standard kind of package or scenario look like that you lend on?
Fix and flip loans are very aggressive, and it's so convenient. Basically people get, they can get up to 85% of the purchase price to buy the property and 100% of the money to rehab the property. It's an interest-only loan. It's for 1 year, and there's no prepayment penalty. The lenders can be institutional, where they're nationwide, or you could be your local hard money lender, which is they don't even pull credit. So depending on who you go to, there's all kinds of resources. Typically, the local guys don't even pull credit. They look at the deal. They don't do an appraisal. It's their money. It's their Roth or whatever, IRA money, 401k money. So, that, or it's either their own or investors' money that they're working together with, and they make a pretty quick decision. That's the ideal way. A lot of times they're not so quick. Then there's the people who are kind of semi-institutional, who have a little bit more formal way of processing loans. They pull credit and they still do an appraisal, but it's their money. And then you have the big institutions, which basically they fund the loans and they package the loans to resell to investors. So they never really actually hold the loans in their portfolio. But basically, overall, the formula is the same. They give up to 70%, maybe 75% of the after repair value. So if you buy a property, let's say just for hypothetical reasons, you bought it for $100,000, you're going to put 25 into it, and it's going to be worth $200,000. They'll give you up to, let's say, 80% of the loan. So they'll, out of the 100,000 purchase, they'll give you 80,000. You'll bring in 20, and the balance for the rehab money, the 25, they'll give you that as well. And up to 70% of the ARV, which at that scenario it qualifies. So 70% of the ARV would be 7% of 200 would be 140. So that would be well qualified for a loan like that.
Is the money for the repairs given at the close of the loan, or is it given to you drawn out as you make the repairs?
That's a good question. So the money's drawn out. They want to make sure that the borrower is committed to the deal, and they want to see progress on the construction.
Right.
So what they do, depending on what lender you go to, is as you complete the work, you tell them you want an inspection. You get an inspection, and then they release the money.
So
some lenders, if you have a good relationship with them, or just their protocol is that they'll give, if you take pictures of the work, that's sufficient enough for them to release the balance of the rehab work.
And so is the money going to the vendor, or is the money going to the borrower?
It's going to the borrower to spend the money at their discretion.
Got it. So there's a lot of trust in these kind of loans, and so I imagine you have to do some due diligence on who the person is individually.
Yeah, the borrowers do. The lenders do due diligence on the borrowers. They like to see experience. If they're not experienced, they're going to get lower leverage and they're going to get higher rates. If they're highly experienced, they'll get better leverage and lower rates, and also quicker loans too. So.
Somebody though who's not experienced can maybe partner up with somebody who is experienced to get better terms, as well as to work with them, right?
That's right. That's
You
right.
see that happening?
I've seen that happen. I've seen that mostly on construction financing, on ground up construction, more so than on flips.
Right. So basically on flips, you have to have somebody coming in. If you're inexperienced, probably 25%, maybe 20. If you're experienced, probably 20, maybe 15 if you're very experienced and successful with a long resume. But you have to come in with some money in the initial buy. No matter how good the deal is on the ARV on the front end, you have to come with some money up front.
That's right. And they're going to look at the expenses. They're going to look at, before you submit, let's say you have your $25,000 expenses, they're going to look at, what are these expenses for? Is this properly allocated? Is this make sense? Are you including all the possible expenses? Like typically people forget permitting, which is a real expense. So they look at that, they qualify that, and then they size up the deal, they size up the bar, and they look at the locations. Typically, one thing, a lot of fix and flippers, they find good deals, but they tend to be more rural. A lot of the lenders don't like to go to rural areas because there's not enough transaction volume. So what is good to do if you're looking for a loan is to go to obviously more densely populated areas. But if you can't get them there, you want to make sure that you can show there's a good transaction volume in that area, because that's what the lenders want. They want to see a velocity of transactions so they can get that property sold and get it off their books once the loan is due.
For my Southern California listeners, rural means well past San Francisco, Riverside, well past San Bernardino. So just in case you're wondering what that means.
That's right.
The part where when you fly into LAX, you look down, there's nothing but dirt. That's what he's talking about. So let's talk a bit about the market. Where do you see, obviously, interest rates rise all year, then they came down at the end. Where do you see interest rates, and how's that affecting your ability to lend on behalf of your clients?
So, I'm not a good predictor of interest rates. If I was, I'd probably be sipping margaritas on a big yacht.
You and me both. I have a crystal ball, by the way. It's right there. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work very well.
Okay. So I'm
love
not
that
good
joke.
at. There you go. Yeah, I see it. It's kind of. It's not working, is it?
No, it doesn't work. I mean, it's fine. It just doesn't do it. It never predicts the interest rates correctly.
It's decoration.
Yeah.
So as far as, I see the rates, softening up. But I honestly don't know what the rates are going to do. As far as I know, is the market is the reacting is more positive. Mm-hmm. So the investors are more relaxed about investing. They're not worried about a hiking interest rate environment. It may go up. I don't know. It's their perception of the market. But there's definitely a more positive optimism, I guess, in the market for that. People feel a little bit more relaxed to make an investment, knowing that maybe we've reached the peak of the real estate interest rate hikes. So but interestingly enough, I'm seeing more inventory on the market and more aggressive pricing by the sellers right now simultaneously. So I think it's actually an optimum time to invest right now, since we're seeing more realistic expectations from sellers. And the buyers are the ones who are truly the pros. It's not the amateur who's getting in there, saw some video, and now they want to do fix and flips.
Yeah, I think as a professional and as an investor myself, I think it's a great opportunity. You have to be selective on the deals, right? There's a lot of deals that are desperate and are. I just how it said to me earlier today that I know they want to sell, but at that price they're not going to sell. They really want to sell, well, then you need to adjust your price.
Yeah.
But there are deals also I got that I'm really close to putting in contract where the seller really wants to sell and has adjusted the price to sell and the terms and everything else. And so as investors, it's a great opportunity. You still have to do due diligence. You are a lender, obviously. I think that sometimes investors mistakenly look at you as the enemy. Oh, he won't underwrite my deal. But the answer is you're helping them discover it might not be a good deal and look at another one. How do you handle the process of, customers, coming to you, then you can't do the deal. Should they therefore not see you again, or does that mean you did your job and you helped them avoid a problem, and they should bring you the next deal too?
Well, you're right, Bill. I mean, a lot of times they're not seeing, the lender is savvy enough to see the pitfalls in this deal, and that it's not going to make enough money.
Right.
And I assure you, the lenders don't want to own the property. They really do not want to own that property. They want to get paid their money back when the loan is due or whatever the terms of the loan are. So you're right. They've seen enough deals, so they're really your friend. It doesn't look like it when they're telling you no, but they're really helping you protect you from losing money.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about a professional basis. You've been in this business, for quite a while, at least 10 years I know of, more. I know you were experienced when I met you. Obviously, it's a challenging market in that there's less sales overall. There's some real tension and stress. Yet I know from my business, I've been working hard consistently and I'm having, some great success. So what would your advice be to somebody who's looking to be a professional or is one trying to get on track? What should they focus on in their business to develop more business to be more successful in this market?
Well, Bill, you're the master phone call maker, man. You're you're the top of the tier. I mean that genuinely. I mean, it's like when we're in the office working together, you were the one that were hammering phone calls, and I looked up to you for your tenacity and your persistence. And so, but I'd say that's the number one thing that, whatever anybody does is to go out there and make the calls and meet the people that, make sure to meet the people. Nowadays, it's more virtual, so meeting is not as necessary. But when you do meet people, I go to plenty of networking events, and I'm always astonished by, I would say easily 80% of the people don't have a business card.
Isn't it interesting?
It's amazing to me. I don't know if you're running into the same thing.
It's not that they have some electric business card that's set up as alternative. They just don't really handle the handoff of, well, if I want more information from you, how do I get it? They just don't really have that. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of stunned by that, which to me tells me, you know what? If you get into the business and you just simply order some business cards and take them with you, you're gonna outshine everybody else.
Well, and also hand them out. One thing I've learned about business cards is I was going through my office the other day. I have boxes of business cards from years ago. I don't know why I didn't hand out 10 times as many as I did. I still would have twice as many as I would ever.
Oh yeah, hand them out. I mean, they're dirt cheap. I mean. Yeah. I learned actually from the business cards, you got to make it bigger print, bigger font, so people can read it more easily. Yeah. You got to say what you do. I'm a real estate broker. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a finance, whatever you do, because a lot of times these names don't make any sense.
Right.
And you got to put a picture of yourself.
Right.
Put a picture of yourself, your phone number, your email. And on the back, I would leave it blank. If you want to put a QR code on the back so that people can go to whatever you want to send them to, that's great. But I would leave it blank and not glossy so people can make notes. I find out that when I go to an event, I use half of my business cards to get other people's information.
Yeah. They
put their information on the back of my business cards because they have nothing.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. Well, Dave, look, I appreciate the time. I obviously appreciate your friendship. It's been a long time. We've been down the road a long ways together. Hopefully we'll continue to go down that road together. Appreciate you sharing information with us today about financing, hard money lending, particularly fix and flips. I know you do other types of lending as well, but I'd ask you really to cover that one because it's a good starting point. We have a lot of new investors on our podcast group and our investment group. And so I want to make those connections. I recommend you wholeheartedly. Look forward to working with you myself. And thank you so much for taking time today. I really appreciate it.
You want me to give my phone number if anybody wants to reach out? Or
Yeah. Please do. Your phone number, maybe an email address.
Okay. So phone number is David. What am I saying? I'm giving you my email. My phone number is 310-903-6907, 310-903-6907. And you could just email me to my personal email at david.mashian, MASHIAN @gmail.com.
And we'll put that in the notes down below. David, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it, as always, chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Bill. All right. Take care.